On a cold February night in 1978, 5 young men from Northern California disappeared after attending a college basketball game. They were all friends. All had mild intellectual disabilities, and all were excited about playing in a Special Olympics basketball tournament the very next morning. But instead of heading home, they drove 50 miles into the snowy mountains. Their car was later found abandoned, stuck in the snow with no signs of struggle and half a tank of gas still in it. Months later, searchers found the bodies of 4 of the 5 men scattered across the Sierra Nevada wilderness. One man had died just inches away from a fully stocked trailer with food and heat. The 5th man was never found. There was no logical reason for their detour, no explanation for why they'd left the safety of their car, and no sign of anyone else involved. To this day, no one knows what really happened to the Yuba County Five, but some believe they were running from something. The story begins on the night of February 24th, 1978. 5 men from Yuba City, California, Bill Sterling, Jack Madruga, Ted Wire, Jack Hewitt, and Gary Mathias, piled into Jack's Mercury Montego and drove 50 miles to Chico State University. They went to watch a college basketball game. Nothing unusual happened that night. They bought snacks, cheered for the game, and were seen leaving peacefully around 10 p.m. But instead of driving south back home, they went east, deep into the Plumas National Forest. It was cold, snow was falling, and they had no reason to be there. The next morning, their families were worried. These weren't reckless guys. All 5 had mild mental or psychiatric conditions, but they were functional, responsible, and deeply excited about something. They had their own basketball game the next morning, a Special Olympics tournament. They had laid out their uniforms the night before. 2 days later, police found their car, abandoned on a remote, snow-covered road. The location was puzzling. It was far off any logical route home, up a narrow mountain path locals rarely used, even in good weather. The car showed no signs of damage or struggle. Keys were missing, but windows were rolled down slightly. It still had enough fuel. The battery worked. So, why was it left there? Even stranger, investigators noted that 5 healthy men could have easily pushed the car out of the snow, but they didn't. Instead, they vanished. Spring came, snow melted, and then bodies started to appear. On June 4th, 1978, nearly 20 miles from where the car was found, searchers discovered a small trailer belonging to the Forest Service. Inside, they found Ted Wire's body. He was lying on a bed, curled up under 8 sheets. But here's what made it horrifying. The trailer had plenty of canned food, most of it unopened. It had a propane tank for heat, never touched. There was paper and matches everywhere. A locker of dehydrated meals, still full. Ted had grown a full beard, suggesting he survived up to 13 weeks in that cabin. Yet he'd slowly starved to death, just inches away from food and warmth. His feet were badly frostbitten. Some of his toes were missing, but there was no evidence he'd tried to escape, or that anyone helped him. Nearby, Jack Hewitt's remains were discovered along the trail that led to the trailer, his bones scattered. Further back, near the original car location, they found Jack Madruga and Bill Sterling. Their bodies were lying on opposite sides of the road just 11 miles from the car. One had been partially eaten by animals, the other appeared to have simply collapsed in the cold. But Gary Mathias, the 5th man, was never found. Only his shoes were discovered inside the trailer. Some believe he swapped shoes with Ted. Others wonder if he went for help and never made it. There were no signs of violence, no indication of a struggle, just a slow, quiet death in the freezing wilderness. But why had they gone there? Why abandon the car? Why leave so many resources unused? Locals offered a chilling clue. A man named Joseph Shans, who was stuck in the same area the night the five went missing, later told police that he had seen flashlights outside his car. He called for help, but the light slowly vanished into the trees. Shans was found alive the next day, but what he saw has never been confirmed. There was another oddity. That same night at a general store 30 miles away, a woman claimed that two of the missing men had come in with two strangers, one clean-shaven, one with a beard. But that lead to went nowhere. Decades have passed. Gary Mathias has never been found. No one knows what caused 5 men to abandon safety, trek into deadly snow, and, despite having everything they needed to survive, slowly die in silence. To this day, no one knows why 5 young men, excited for a basketball tournament, drove into the snowy mountains that night. No one knows why they left their car, fully functional, behind, or why they trekked into the wilderness with no survival gear, why they ignored food and heat, and why only 4 were ever found. There were no signs of foul play, no clear cause for panic, and yet their decisions led to a slow, tragic end in the cold silence of the forest. Gary Mathias, diagnosed with schizophrenia, remains missing. Was he the last survivor? Did he go for help and perish, or was something else involved? Some believe the group was chased. Others think Gary had a psychotic episode and the others followed him in fear or confusion. But even those theories can't explain why Ted Wire starved to death within arm's reach of food, why no fire was lit, why no one ever came back for the car, or why none of the men sought help sooner. This case has haunted families, investigators, and armchair detectives for decades. It is a tragedy and a mystery, one that leaves behind more questions than answers. What made 5 men walk away from safety into a frozen forest and into history? What do you think happened to the Yuba County Five? Comment your theory below. And don't forget to subscribe for more real-life unsolved mysteries.